it's Jeff Outgillers. Welcome to my live call. And it comes with a problem. When people say, I can't find anyone to do this business. What am I doing wrong? For those of you that don't know me, I've been involved in network marketing 40 years. I share a lot of what I've learned in my journey on these live calls. I started in this business totally broke, sold a junk truck to get started, put $200 into my business. Last 28 years, I've been full-time. So I'm gonna talk about this subject, but I'm gonna also acknowledge some wonderful people that's gonna be joining. And so I think George from New York just did. And Hadass, how are you doing? Good to see you, Hadass. Yeah, I hope you're doing well. That's right, greetings from Canada, Winnipeg. Never been there. Been to the Maritimes and, you know, and hang on just a second. It's too dark. There, just a little bit too dark. Okay, and been to the Maritimes and just, oh, so you're still in lockdown. Okay, well, I'll tell you what, the politicians love keeping countries locked down, that's for sure. Olenia, good to see you. Mark, good to see you. Oh, I love that, Hadass, thank you. And Micah, my son, good to see you. Hope everything is well with your family. And Markian, good to see you. What's up, dude? Good to see you this evening. I'm doing it live from my gym. And yeah, eventually I'll do one out of the game room later on like I used to, but I'm pushing myself. I was playing a DVD, a workout DVD. It was free weights and the elliptical, and this woman was an animal. Hey, Jennifer, nice to see you, Jennifer. Patty, nice to see you. Yedalai in Northeast India. You're the furthest one out, Yedalai. Good to see you. Good to see you this evening. TJ, saw your live. Very good, TJ. She's doing the 14-day challenge, I think. And some of you are doing challenges. Lisa, nice to see you. Karen, nice to see you. Some of you are doing either a 7-day challenge or a 14-day challenge. And actually, what I'm going to talk about, you could put in a challenge too as well. So that would be helpful, really would. So the thing is, I want to talk about, you know, this subject. I can't find anyone to do this. What am I doing wrong? Well, it's good to ask questions. Very important to ask questions, because you're never going to be able to get better at what you do if you don't, right? I mean, I went through this process as well. And I would seek out people that did well to find out what they're doing. I'd ask them questions. Amy, good to see you. Good to see you. But I think, you know, it's interesting. And I hear this a lot, you know, when people say, I can't find anyone. You know, wait, on the earth, there's 8 billion people, and you can't find anyone. Come on, you must be in Alaska. You know, I mean, in the upper region, right? I mean, nobody is around you within 100 miles, okay? You know, I get it. If that's your circumstances, I get that. If that's not your circumstances, and it's not the circumstances of most, I don't get that. You got 8 billion people and you can't find prospects. It's funny. It's like a guy I talked to one time, a leader in a company, and their flagship product is an immune system product. And he said to me, he says, or he asked, he said, where do I find prospects? And I said, anybody with an immune system? Or if it was skincare and someone said, where do I find prospects? Anybody with skin? Or if it was somebody with a weight loss product, where do I find prospects? Anybody who's fighting the battle of the bulge. I mean, I know I'm being sarcastic on this a little bit, right? But I'm having fun with it because it's really true. Because the real problem is that a lot of people, when they joined a network marketing company, they went to their warm market having not been trained, and maybe it wasn't the fault of their sponsor because the sponsor wasn't trained. And it wasn't the fault of that person because that person's sponsor wasn't trained. Everyone was, you know, in what we call accidental leadership syndrome, you know. So incompetence breeds incompetence, right? So, and that's what happens. It's not your fault. It's not, and I was there too. The guy that recruited me 40 years ago, he didn't know what he was doing. Well, I didn't know what I was doing then. Again, it wasn't his fault because his sponsor didn't know what he was doing. So, the thing about it is that, we go through this process and then we come across with people salesy, or we're looking for marketing ideas, and we think it's all about sales, and that's what it's all about. Here's the problem. The result of what you're going through in this process, what I went through in the process, is the fact that we lose our confidence. We lose our confidence, we get in a state of overwhelm and confusion. We lose our confidence, we're in a state of overwhelm, and we're in confusion. That's the result of it. And so, then, we think that the approach is, all about, I've got to tweak it. I've got to learn how to be a better salesman. I've got to be, and in other words, the whole approach of what we're doing is wrong. It's about sales. It's not about giving. It's about, getting when it should be contribution. It's a mind shift that we have to shift with if we want to see better results. And that's what I learned from it, and Bob Heilig, my friend, talks about love, serve, grow, and he's absolutely right. It's really all about that. It's all about love, serve, grow. How can we contribute to others? How can we make, people's lives better? Can we make a difference? Can we do that? Instead of thinking about that, it's about marketing strategies and becoming a better salesperson. It's not about that. It's simply having a mind shift, and if we come from love, serve, grow, we're going to see things in our business change. When we get our mind off of getting and giving, it's a big difference. The results are going to be huge, huge. Before, we might have thought, well, maybe I just don't have the ability. Maybe I'm just not cut out for this. Well, I said that too. I used to think that. I used to think, when I was in, I've been in 10 companies in my lifetime. And I can tell you that before I hit a home run, I struck out most of the time. And I always thought maybe it's not for me. So the thing about it is when we look back, and this is an action step you need to take. When we look back, look back at your relationships. And here's a question I want to ask you, and you can take a note of it. You can take notes tonight if you want before you go to bed and think about it. You know, in your lifetime, when you think about your relationships with people, have you been mostly a giver or a taker? Now, I know that's going to be hard. It's hard to be brutally honest and, you know, with yourself sometimes, because we always want to think we did it right, right? We'd never be guilty of being a taker. Of course not. But have we? Have we been a giver or have we been a taker? Think about it. Because if you're struggling with your business, you probably have spent a lot of your life being a taker. And I'm not attacking you or, you know, saying anything negative about you, because we've all been guilty of it. We've all been guilty of it. We just have to understand that it doesn't work. That we're going to be a far more effective leader. We're going to have greater results in our business if we get focused mostly on giving instead of just taking. You know, so what would, you know, let's just say, well, if I'm not sure, I'm really not sure if I'm a taker. You know, well, what are some of the signs, you know, that you could be a taker? Well, why don't you review your Facebook page tonight and any other social platform you use, and then ask yourself, you know, is it mostly about you? Is it mostly about you? About how you look and how you want to come across, that you're overly focused on that versus giving value, giving training. I try to post something almost every day that's just a thought from one of my Facebook Lives that I've done in the past. You know, things that I thought about, things that I've learned through my journey and all that, and just put a bullet out there. And some of you have seen those. I'm talking about that. When you review your page, is it about that? And if it's not, if it's mostly just about how you look, and I know nobody would be guilty of that on this call. I'm talking about maybe people in your downline, right? But, you know, take a look at that. Or let's say if it's the end of the month and your leaders haven't heard from you all month, and you pick up the phone because you know you're a little bit behind on your qualifications, and you call them and say, hey, can you push it? I need some volume. I need to qualify. Then you could be a taker. That's a taker, not a giver. Or maybe somebody you prospected and they said no, and you never talked to them again. Was that the only thing you wanted from them? So, and again, not attacking anybody. I'm just saying we have to understand that when we do things like that, why our business is the way it is. And if we shift it to a love, serve, grow approach, and that's the way it comes across, that's the way it resonates with those people that we prospect, that's the way it resonates with those people that are in our team, we're going to see greater results. That's the thing. You know, the thing that we have to also look at is when we look at our network, and that is network. What I mean by network, I'm talking about your friends, your warm market. You know, here's a question I have for you also. You're going to say, Jeff, you're too serious tonight. All right. But do you want to get better at this or not? Here's the question. When you think about your friends, your warm market, how have you supported them in the things that was important to them? This is under the subject of being a taker. How have you supported your friends in things that were important to them? And I'll tell you where it starts. It starts in your family, by the way, too. I've learned that, you know, that if something is very important to my wife, it better be important to me. But really, think about it. In your relationships with friends that you've had, things that are important to them, you know, how did you show up with that? And if we didn't, then why would they support us? Why would they be a customer of yours? Why would they join your business or even look at it? Something to think about. So here's the thing. What does that mean then? if you've been a taker, and I've been guilty of it, it doesn't mean it's permanent. You can change it. You can totally change it. That's the good news. That's the real good news, that you can change it. The important thing is being aware of it. Being aware of it. Here's the thing. Remember this. You will be rewarded or punished for the life that you lived prior to joining your company. And what I mean by that is in how you have engaged in these areas as a giver or as a taker. You're going to be rewarded or punished in the life that you lived prior to joining your company. So if you look at some people, let me give you an example. Let's say that there's a woman that joined your company and she's only been in 6 months. She's already broken 3 ranks in the compensation plan. And then everybody's talking about it. How is she doing it? What is her secret? These are always, I hear these things all the time, even in my organization throughout the world. I hear this stuff. The minute somebody is a rank breaker, everybody starts thinking, oh my gosh, what is their secret sauce? Because if I have that secret sauce, I can do the same thing too. I tell you, it doesn't work that way. Because it goes back to this very thing that we're talking about. I guarantee you that woman was a major giver. So she's being rewarded in the life that for the life that she lived prior to joining her network marketing company. That's the thing to think about. So when we think about that, let me illustrate it this way. It's just like banking. It's just like banking. You make deposits, then you can make withdrawals. Can you ever go to a bank that you never made a deposit and say, hey, I need $1,000? They're going to say, you don't have $1,000. Yeah, but I need $1,000. Sorry, can't help you. That's reasonable. People do it all the time. People that were takers and never did anything for anybody, never made contribution, will go to them and say, hey, will you look at my product? Will you look at my opportunity? They're like, no, I'm sorry, can't help you. That's right. Let me get back to that in a second, but let's talk about what are some of the signs if you're a giver. If you're a giver, think about this. When was the last time that, you called somebody, just called somebody, see how they're doing, see how the family's doing, what they've been doing, and you never mentioned your company, your opportunity, or your product. You are only concerned about this person. When was the last time? And if you did, awesome. If that is part of your MO or part of your nature, and you reach out to people fairly frequently, then that's a great thing to do. That's a good sign. You're a giver. What about if you shared someone's post? People that you're connected with, you saw something you posted, had great value, you shared it to your page, say, hey, this is a great value. Well, you're a giver. Because now that person that you shared, they're thinking, wow, man, that person's nice. They shared my content. That's really cool. Or maybe somebody needed something. They really needed something. And they reached out to you and they asked you, they said, hey, can you help me out? And then when was the last time that happened? And you dropped everything that you were doing and you went and helped that person. Think about it. And again, if you're doing those things, great. Keep doing them. That means you're a giver. If you're not doing those things, maybe you should start thinking about doing that. See, that's how you turn it around. Because when we start making contribution in people's lives, when we start making contribution to people who will be our future prospects, as well as our downline. You've heard me say this before. If you want to have a great month every month in your business, don't call your leaders at the end of the month. Don't do that. That's a taker. Because they know why you're doing it. Because you want to qualify or you want to hit some, I don't know, maybe a contest. Don't do that. Call them early And when you call them, don't get into business right away. It doesn't work. I mean, it's funny. The other day, one of my leaders asked me to work on something. One of her distributors got in trouble, did something they shouldn't do, and so they got in trouble. So I had to call the legal department, the compliance department, and talk to the head person, a lady. And when I called her, I just said, first got into just the chat of, hey, how you doing? How's your family? How are you? What's been going on? Just what people call small talk, I guess. And just enjoying it. And then she says, well, I think I know why you're calling. You want to talk to me about that, don't you? And I said, actually, I enjoy talking with you. But yeah, we can talk about that if that's okay. But I do enjoy talking with you. See what I mean? You need to do that with your leaders. And do it in the beginning of the month. Ask them how they're doing. Ask them how their family's doing. Then talk to them. Say, hey, how can I serve you? Love, serve, grow. You love people. You serve people. You grow. You're growing. You're getting better at it. If you do that in the beginning of the month, you're going to have a great end of the month. Find out what their goals are. Start running with them. That's the thing about it. So here's the thing we have to understand. Your network, that's the people in your organization, or also it's the people in your organization as well as the future people that will be in your organization, what we call prospects. Your network is your net worth. Your network is your net worth, and you have to take care of it. And that's how you do. You contribute to it. I mean, you pour it on. You get good at pouring it on, you'll be a major rank breaker. You'll be one of those that everybody will talk about, and they'll say, wow, what's his secret? What's the secret in his sauce? And they don't get it because they got it all down to marketing strategies. I'm telling you, man. And some might say, well, that's old school. You doggone right it is. And it still sells, it still works, and what you're doing doesn't. Show me the results. Show me the results. Or what did that guy say to Jerry Maguire? Show me the money, Jerry. Show me the money in what you're doing. Because I see a lot of people, they're working on marketing strategies, do this, do that, but they want to leave out these very most essential things. Most essential. So the thing about it is, just remember that when you're generous toward other people, they're going to be generous back to you. These are fundamental facts, but they're so overlooked all the time. All the time. All the time. And I'm not saying, by the way, that your kindness, your generosity is a marketing ploy, that it's just a smoke that's covering your, let's say that covers your, financial motivation. It's not about that. It's not about exploiting people by kindness and love. That's not what I'm talking about. You focus on the giving. That has to come from the heart. That has to be you. And if you do that, money will chase you and overtake you. It will. It'll be a natural byproduct. It will be a consequence because you did it right. And that's how you do it. I'll tell you, when I look back at my lifetime in my, my organization now that's 22 years old, and I can tell you that I worked very hard in those relationships, and it was working with people, helping people, but it was also breaking bread with them, going to dinner. Sometimes, when I was in Asia, they like to stay out late. I mean, we're talking 2 o'clock in the morning, sometimes 3 o'clock in the morning, and that's it. I thought, it's okay with me. Cultures are different. Countries are different. The cuisine is so different. Some of the stuff that I ate, I'm like, oh my gosh, how am I going to do this? You do it and you smile. Put it in your mouth and swallow and smile. I can remember these conversations with myself. But that was the thing. And I'll tell you what, man, they loved me for it. They loved me for it because I tried. Because I tried. So that's the thing. Think about that, and think about these things, and follow these action steps about contributing. And if you want to share this training to your people so that they can be givers, not focused on taking, go ahead and do that if you want. If you haven't got my book, Reaching the Peak, it's on Amazon, and it's also in Spanish as well. So thanks for getting on this training tonight. And let me see, I'll put out some value tomorrow. Looking forward to Friday Q&A. Why don't you start writing down some of the questions you might have? And when I post on Friday morning, hey, has anybody got any questions for tonight? I'll call you out by name and do my best to serve you, right? Love, serve, grow. Everyone have a wonderful night. See you then.